Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about one of the most serious global developments right now, the escalating conflict between Iran and Israel and how it is affecting the entire world. Over the past few weeks, tensions in the Middle East have turned into direct military confrontation. Airstrikes, missile attacks, and regional involvement have raised concerns about a much larger conflict. But this situation is not just about two countries. It has major consequences for global energy prices, international security, trade routes, and even the global economy. In this video, we'll explain what started the conflict, what is happening right now, and how it is impacting countries around the world. To understand the current situation, we need to look at the long-standing tensions between Iran and Israel. For decades, the relationship between these two countries has been extremely hostile. Israel views Iran's nuclear program and missile capabilities as a major threat to its national security. On the other hand, Iran has strongly opposed Israel's policies in the Middle East and supports groups that oppose Israel. Over the years, this conflict has mostly happened indirectly through cyber attacks, intelligence operations, and proxy conflicts. However, in late February 2026, tensions escalated dramatically when Israel, reportedly with support from the United States, launched large-scale military strikes against targets inside Iran. This operation targeted military and strategic locations and marked one of the most direct confrontations between the two sides in recent history. Following the strikes, Iran responded with missile and drone attacks against Israeli territory and military targets across the region. Reports indicate that hundreds of missiles and drones were launched toward Israel and U.S. bases in the Middle East. Some attacks also targeted military installations and infrastructure in nearby Gulf countries. The conflict quickly expanded beyond just two nations. Several Middle Eastern countries were forced to close airspace, increase military readiness, and prepare for further escalation. The situation has created widespread concern that the conflict could grow into a regional war. One of the biggest global concerns is energy supply. The Middle East is responsible for a significant portion of the world's oil production, and one of the most important shipping routes is the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway handles around 20% of the world's oil supply. During the current conflict, tensions in this region have disrupted shipping and raised fears of a possible blockade. Some shipping companies have already suspended routes due to security risks. As a result, oil prices have increased significantly, reaching over $90 per barrel in recent days. Higher oil prices can affect everything from transportation costs to food prices around the world. This means that a conflict thousands of miles away can still affect everyday life in many countries. The economic impact of the conflict is already being felt worldwide. Stock markets have experienced volatility, and investors are becoming cautious due to geopolitical uncertainty. Energy prices, transportation costs, and shipping insurance rates have all increased. Some airlines have also changed flight routes to avoid the conflict area, which increases travel time and operational costs. The conflict is also affecting global supply chains. For example, some industries depend on resources and materials that pass through the Middle East. Disruptions in these supply routes could impact manufacturing sectors, including electronics and semiconductor production. In short, the ripple effects of the war extend far beyond the battlefield. The Middle East already has several complex geopolitical tensions, and this conflict could draw in additional countries. Missile attacks and military responses have already affected areas beyond Iran and Israel, including nearby Gulf states. Some countries have increased military defenses, while others are calling for diplomatic solutions. To prevent further escalation, there is also concern that non-state groups or allied militias could become involved. This would make the situation even more complicated. Many international organizations and governments are now urging restraint and dialogue to prevent a wider regional conflict. Countries around the world are closely monitoring the situation. Some nations support Israel's right to defend itself, while others emphasize the need for diplomacy and escalation. Major powers such as the United States, Russia, and China all have strategic interests in the region. Their responses could influence how the conflict develops in the coming weeks. International organizations have also called for humanitarian protection and efforts to avoid civilian casualties. Diplomatic negotiations may still play a key role in preventing the situation from becoming even more dangerous. The Iran-Israel conflict is not just a regional issue. It is a global concern that affects energy markets, international security, trade routes, and economic stability. While the situation continues to evolve, one thing is clear. The consequences of this conflict are being felt far beyond the Middle East. The coming weeks will be critical in determining whether tensions escalate further or diplomatic solutions can bring stability. Thank you for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, consider subscribing for more updates and global insights. Stay informed, stay safe, and see you in the next video.